It is odd, not gonna lie, to want to go to LA, which I assume is what you mean by West Coast. You're not going to Seattle, right? Okay, right, you could go to Seattle, but I know there's not much of a market there. So I assume what you're saying is advice on moving to Los Angeles. It is possible to work in Los Angeles as a voice actor full-time and not have to do on-camera work. It is possible, and if that's something that you would like to do, that's great. And there is stage work to be done in LA too. However, there is not nearly as much stage work, nor as much the production of stage work as there is in New York, right? So, you have to sort of decide what's your first priority. And you could start one and then go the other, but you know, I started in New York doing theater, and then my love of animation started to take over, and I became a big fish in a small pond. And that's when I decided it was time to move to LA. And actually I have an episode on the podcast about this. I talk about which cities are sort of the best for voice acting. And then I say, are you ready? Like, these are the things you should probably need to have lined up before you go. But the biggest thing is usually, are you the big fish in the small pond? If you are a small fish in a small pond and you go to the ocean, you're going to get eaten, right? And you're going to get frustrated because you're going to be beating your head against the wall and you won't know why you're not making any progress, okay? Especially because I assume you don't have unlimited funds, right? If you had unlimited funds, sure, move to LA and learn things there. But I imagine it's probably more expensive for you to live in Los Angeles than it is probably where you are right now. And chances, do you live here in Pittsburgh? Okay, so there are probably, the nice thing about the East Coast is cities are closer to each other. There are probably opportunities somewhere here on the East Coast that you could explore that are a little closer to home, where you could work on your skills and you could improve yourself before you decide to go take the leap to Los Angeles. That is what you should do. You should find the opportunities where you are and exhaust every one of them. And when you are looking around and saying, I got nothing else here, then it's time to move. I went to LA and I thought I was the bee's knees. I was one of the lead voice actors in New York. I'd been on Broadway. I knew my stuff, right? I got my butt handed to me in Los Angeles. When I first got to LA, I met a director, Mary Elizabeth, and she was so wonderful and she was so eager to cast me in things. She cast me in Digimon, in the 4th season of Digimon. Wait, the story's not over. She cast me in the 4th season of Digimon, and she cast me as the main villain in the Cowboy Bebop movie. I said, story's not over. I got fired from both those jobs.
What?
Thank you. No, please applaud. Please applaud. I got fired from both those jobs. Why? One was they hadn't quite figured out how to cast me properly, so I was a little miscast. The other problem was I was not up to speed. I was not good enough. I was in the minor leagues and I had come to the major leagues and I needed some time to get up to speed. And it was pretty heartbreaking to get fired from both jobs like within a week of each other. I thought, that's it, I'm done, forget working in LA. And then it's like, damn it, I'm gonna figure out what it's gonna take to do this. A couple months later, the character that I was supposed to play on Digimon was the Digimon of Light. Well, the Digimon of Dark showed up. And they decided to cast me as the Digimon of Dark because I'd gotten better and I was good. And it turns out the Digimon of Dark is the twin brother of the Digimon of Light. So I wasn't good enough to play him, but I was good enough to play his twin. But in the recording session with Mary Elizabeth, we were working on something, and she was saying how hard it was to cast the main villain in the Cowboy Bebop movie. And I said, oh, Mary Elizabeth, listen to this. And I said, on Titan, long ago. And she's like, oh. How come you couldn't do that 6 months ago? And I said, Mary, I wasn't there yet. I didn't have the skills, you know? I was up to bat, and the balls were just going past me, and I couldn't keep up. But I busted my butt and figured out how to make that happen. So, you know, you want to be at the top of your game before you go to the next place. Does that make sense? Okay. And you may have to make some decisions about which one's going to take priority. You can do both, but which one's going to be priority? If stage is your priority, New York is probably where you need to be. If voice acting is your priority, LA is probably where you need to be. You can still do theater in LA, and you can still do voiceover work in New York, but they're not going to be on the same level as the other one. Maybe you'll become bicoastal and put me to shame. All right, let's do this